What's up, everyone? Welcome into another episode of Instant Reaction here on the Colts Audio Network and on YouTube. I'm JJ Stankevitz, joined every week by Colts Ring of Honor wide receiver Bill Brooks as we break down the Colts' latest game. Bill, the Colts beat the Chicago Bears 21-16 on Sunday at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Colts improved to 1-2. The Bears and the Chicago White Sox combined to fall to 37 and 122 on the season with today's results. Bill, the big story out of this game, beyond just the Colts getting the win, I think Anthony Richardson going 10 of 20 for 167. He throws two picks. He has a passer rating of 39.0. And I was talking with a couple of my friends who cover the Bears in the press box after the game. And Patrick Finley, who covers the Bears for the Chicago Sun-Times, told me that's the first time since 1994 the Bears have allowed a passer rating under 40 for a starting quarterback who started and finished a game and lost. So that puts some perspective into the Colts' win today, that Anthony Richardson was not at his best, but the Colts still managed to win. And Bill, the overarching takeaway I had for this game was, while Anthony Richardson is figuring out how to be the reason why the Colts win games, it is imperative that the Colts figure out ways to win games around that. And today, Bill, they were able to do that.
Yeah, they figured to win the game today without Anthony at his best. And if you are a teammate of Anthony's or you're on the Colts roster and you can win a game that way without your quarterback being his best and knowing that he's only going to get better as time goes on, it does a lot for you as an individual and as a team, because you know that, hey, there are going to be times where the quarterback might not be at his best, but we are good enough to win a game when he's not at his best, and kind of just say, okay, we're going to hold it together until he gets better each week. He gets a little bit better each week. He does a little bit better, and he learns each week. And knowing that, hey, once he gets to his potential that we think he can be, then if he can be the guy and the reason why we win, and then we can play at a level that, you know what, we can win games when he's not at his best. Just think how good we can be if we all come together at one time when he's playing at his best, and we, the rest of the team, we're doing our job and we're playing really well. So I think that is a way they should look at it, and the way that, you know, if you understand it, that we just have to go out there right now and play our best until he figures it out and he improves, and things he understands how things should work, and that he goes out there and then he executes and he plays at his best. Then the coach should have some big games and big wins in the future when it all comes together.
Right. I mean, the plays are out there for
Yes.
Anthony Richardson, but for whatever reason today, there were the misses were more noticeable, I think, Bill, than even back to week 2 against Green Bay. The second interception Richardson threw, Michael Pittman Jr. has loads of green grass around him. He's got about 5 yards in front of him and about 7 yards behind him. And Richardson airmails it. It goes right into the arms of cornerback Jalen Johnson. After the game, Bill, Richardson said he maybe got a little bit too excited. He saw Pittman was open. Maybe got a little bit antsy just to get the ball there. He's just got to spin it, let it rip, and get the ball to the guy who's wide open. But the thing that I thought was really interesting is, I mean, look, this is an ugly game for Anthony Richardson, like an
Mhm.
ugly game. And he said as much in his post-game press conference. When you go into that Colts locker room and you hear from Ryan Kelly, Quentin Nelson, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr., the leaders on the team, the pillars of this team, you know what they all said, Bill? They were like, we gained so much respect for Anthony Richardson today, and we were inspired by him. So, a couple things here. That's all, and this is all real. Like this is like Quentin Nelson's not going to BS you. Ryan Kelly's not going to BS you in that locker room. So let's start here with the Trey Sermon touchdown. Quentin Nelson, Bill, he told a couple of us after the game that he looks over, and the first guy who's in there to push Trey Sermon, who gets hit 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage by Kevin Byard, is Anthony Richardson. And Q goes, well, if Anthony's over there, I better get myself over there. So by the end of this play, 9 of the Bears' 11 defenders on the field had rallied to the ball. And you've got Anthony Richardson, Mo Alley Cox, Michael Pittman Jr., Bernard Ryman, Quentin Nelson all pushing. And they get Trey Sermon across the goal line. But like, Bill, for Anthony Richardson to do that, for him to, essentially identify, okay, Trey got hit, and hey, wait a minute, he's keeping his legs moving. I can have a shot at pushing him. Like something Quentin Nelson said is like, you don't see quarterbacks do that. You don't see quarterbacks say, I'm going to stick my nose in there and do whatever it takes for my team to win in that situation. That was a moment that really resonated among the Anthony Richardson's teammates today.
Yeah, when teammates see that the quarterback is getting in there and trying to make a play and trying to push the pile so the guys can get in the end zone, knowing that Anthony, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to help this team win, and is what he showed on that play. Your teammates look at you and say, this is the guy that I definitely will get behind because he's going to do whatever it takes for us to win games, no matter how he's playing, what's going on. He wants to help this team score touchdowns, win games. And so you see him pushing, and he's the leader. He's the first one to do it, try to push Trey into the end zone. Then everyone rallies around him and comes and helps him out. And they push him again to the end zone. Your teammates respect you when you do that. When you're trying to do the best for the team, teammates respect you for that. And you know what? He probably gained a lot of respect from not just the offensive lineman, but from the whole team, because the defense sees that. They're out there watching themselves and knowing that, hey, this guy's giving us all. We should be doing the same thing. And that's why he's one of the leaders on the team.
So, Bill, after the game, Anthony Richardson, in his post-game press conference, he was talking about that, and he said, quote, "You've got to find a way to do something to help the team if you're not going to pass the ball correctly. So I was just trying to find a way to help the squad." Like he's aware that this was not a good game that he played throwing the football. But stuff like that matters. Like in week 3, when your quarterback's doing that, that matters for the offensive line. That matters for the running backs, for the receivers, the tight ends, everyone in this offense. I mean, look, the thing that's going to matter the most is Anthony Richardson improving his completion percentage. Like, full stop. That's what the thing that's going to matter the most. But the reason why this team is so confident in Anthony Richardson is because of stuff like that. It's because, like, Ryan Kelly was asked, hey, do you say something to Anthony when he comes back to the sideline? And Ryan goes, no, I don't have to say anything to him because he comes back, he's already hard on himself, and I see the way that he perseveres through adversity. The team trusts Anthony Richardson because in the post-game locker room, if you saw the victory speech that we put out on our social media channels on Colts.com, it starts with Shane Steichen, and then Anthony Richardson goes and breaks down the team, Bill. I don't know if you watch this, but
I haven't seen it.
Richardson is saying, hey, great job by the defense, great team win. Hey, I'm going to play better for y'all. I've got to play better. And, but great team win. And when he says, but great team win, someone from the background goes, we're behind you, brother. Like, that right there, I was like, okay, look, he's got to play better. He knows this.
Yes,
he admits
definitely.
it. But like, there is genuinely no one in that building, no one in that locker room who doesn't believe in Anthony Richardson and doesn't believe that eventually Anthony Richardson will be the reason why the Colts win football games. Right now, today, he wasn't. But down the road, there is so much trust that he will be, that if he can figure these things out, his team is all behind him. He's going to do great things if he can get all this stuff figured out.
The teammates are behind him, and they're behind him because of the things he said, as you mentioned, in the locker room. Hey, guys, great team win. I didn't play my best. I recognize that. I'm going to get better. I have to get better. But it was a good team win because we all came together. And to me, that is a good growing moment for Anthony Richardson, knowing that, hey, I didn't play my best. I recognize that. And I'm willing to admit it to my teammates. And I'm sure my teammates know They've seen the game. They watched the game. They know I didn't play my best. But him recognizing it and not running away from it
Yeah.
and taking ownership of it says a lot about him, who he is as a person. And that goes a long way in the locker room. And that's why those guys are behind him and they will be behind him moving forward.
I mean, and look, with Anthony Richardson, those guys all have seen it. They all know that no matter what the score of the game is, we could be down 23 nothing at halftime. We got a shot because of his
Yes.
outrageous athleticism and playmaking ability. And Shane Steichen knows it. Look, if he's missing stuff, the fourth and short throw that he skied,
Hmm.
tough play right there. But you know what? We can eventually we can go back to that. And or hey, if today's the day that we just need to pivot to running the football, let's go do that. But ultimately, we know that when Five's back there, we got a chance to win. It's because of his mentality, his playmaking ability. Again, the other stuff does need to be cleaned up. I looked this up, Bill. The last team to make the playoffs when, as a team, they were completing under 55% of their passes. Fun fact, the 2012 Colts was Andrew Luck's rookie year.
Really?
No team has made the playoffs. Yeah, Andrew Luck completed 54.1% of his passes that year. No team has made the playoffs while completing under 50% of their passes since the 1987 Houston Oilers. So the, the completion percentage is a thing. It's got to get better. But again, if Richardson can kind of clean up some of the mechanical things, just like he said, just let it spin, let it rip. It's week 3. If the Colts go out and they can beat the Steelers next week, you're 2-2 through week 4. Now you start to build. If this is still a problem after Thanksgiving, then I think you're worried it's a bigger issue than it might be right now. But I know no one wants to hear patience, Bill, and I'm just kind of going on a bit of a rant here. No one wants to hear
No, no.
patience because this is a what have you done for me lately league. But talking to some of the folks who cover the Bears this week, like they all know you got to be patient with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams did some unreal things on the football field today. It never got to a point, Bill, where I felt nervous that the Bears are going to win this
No.
game. But that dude can do some stuff that not many other quarterbacks can do. The Bears are going to be fine with Caleb Williams as their quarterback. You just got to ride out the highs and lows. And right now, the Colts have to ride out the highs and lows with Anthony Richardson. I think maybe we were hoping that it would just be nothing but highs. It's not.
No.
But if you can just win some games while Anthony Richardson's completing 50% of his passes, well, hey, what can you do when he's completing 60% of his passes? If he gets there come November, December, January.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is, I said this earlier, you have to be patient with these young quarterbacks coming into the league right now. You know there are going to be some ups and downs, but you just have to be patient and understand that, you know what, they're going to make mistakes. And the best way for them to learn is to make the mistakes in the games while they're playing the games. And hopefully they'll learn and grow from those mistakes. And they can take it and look at the film and say, okay, I made a mistake this way. And they can actually feel it because they were in the situation. They were actually playing the game and they made the mistake and they know what they were thinking. They know what they were seeing and know what they were feeling. So they can hopefully put that in their memory bank. And when it comes up again, they won't make the same mistake and they can execute and, have a good play. So hopefully people will be patient. I know in this day and age, people don't like to be patient for anything. So we need to be patient and make sure that, you know what, he's doing the right things. He's getting better. He has a good coaching staff that's working with him to make him better and to improve. And I think as long as he continues to learn and wants to learn, he will get better. It's just we as fans and people who are wanting the coach to do well have to be patient with Anthony Richardson and this Colts team.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to live with a play like he had throwing the pick in the end zone, where that was one that Shane Steichen said was on him. That Shane
Right.
said we were trying to get the Bears in man. They played zone, and the Colts are in big personnel. They were in 13 personnel with 3 tight ends on the field, and there
Mhm.
there was nothing there. And that's probably one that Anthony should have just ate and moved on to a field goal. But Shane Steichen put that one on him, that turnover on him. So, Bill, let's just get into how the Colts won this game with their quarterback. playing, having a 39.0 passer rating. And for me, it starts with Jonathan Taylor, who
Hmm.
has 23 carries, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a 29-yarder. That right there was the engine of the Colts offense today. Another game, Bill, where Jonathan Taylor ran with patience, with vision, acceleration, and speed. Exactly what we've come to know about Jonathan Taylor and the kind of running back he can be.
And it's kind of don't like saying this is, but it was like, okay, yeah, that's Jonathan Taylor. I mean, it was
That's
just
pretty
something
good.
that we're used to seeing with Jonathan Taylor, running hard, running with patience, running with great vision, and just hitting the holes. Where the holes were there, he hit it. And then when the hole wasn't there, he was patient. Maybe the hole will develop and he hit it once he saw the hole there. So, I mean, that's what you want to see from Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor was just very patient, very methodical about running the ball and ran the ball very hard. And when you can average what 4.8 yards per carry, that's pretty good. Almost 5 yards a carry. That's pretty good. Saying a lot about him as a runner, but it's also saying a lot about the offensive line, what they did out there today. And that was a real good run defense of the Chicago
Yeah.
Bears. So it wasn't like they just ran, over some team that doesn't have a good run defense.
hmm
That run defense against the Bears was real good. They've been good the past 2 weeks. So give the offensive line credit for the Colts and give Jonathan Taylor credit for what they did today against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up the Bears defense, and you're absolutely right. This, by the way, that as we're talking about it, I'm thinking this probably was a pretty bad matchup for the Colts offense in that the Bears defense can stop the run. They've got a good front seven. They've got really good linebackers. And
And
then
good
they're a
secondary
team
too.
that, right, good, really good secondary, but they're a team that, Matt Eberflus, we know it, he'll give you the easy completions if you don't hit the explosives. And there weren't a lot of easy completions today for the Colts. That's not what this offense has been able to do. They've been able to hit the 40-yard bombs, the 50-yard bombs, which they got. They got the one to Alec Pierce. They had the other one to Kylan Granson that was a real nice catch and run. Uh, the probably a tough matchup for this Colts offense against this Bears defense, just as a baseline there. Again, Bill, knowing what we know about Matt Eberflus. So again, for this offense to generate what they needed to win this game, pretty impressive stuff that, you'll take any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, and that gives you confidence as an offense, knowing that, hey, we're going up against a pretty good defense, and we ran the ball the way we did against this defense. No, we didn't pass the ball like we wanted to. We didn't have the completions and things like that. We didn't run up the score on the Bears, but we ran the ball pretty effectively, pretty efficiently. We did a good job of opening some holes for Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor ran hard, ran physical, ran patient, as we said earlier. So we did a good job. We did what we needed to do from an offensive standpoint to get Jonathan Taylor going and going enough to help us win this football game. And that's all you needed.
The flip side of it, Bill, is on defense. The Colts stopped the run. They held Chicago to 28 carries for 63 yards. It's an average of 2.3 yards per carry, which, by the way, right in line with what the Colts did
Yes.
in their final 7 possessions against Green Bay last week after they got gouged on the first 3 possessions. So they stopped the run, and then they took the ball away 3 times, with Jalen Jones getting 2 interceptions, Laiatu Latu getting his first career sack, a strip sack of Caleb Williams, recovered by Grover Stewart. The Colts turned that into a touchdown. They also turned one of Jalen Jones' interceptions into a touchdown. And then the other one of Jalen Jones' interceptions came after Richardson threw the pick in the end zone. So this, Bill, was a story to me of good run defense, complementary football, with the defense supporting the offense and the offense supporting the defense. That's how you wind up winning this game.
Yeah, a lot of the turnovers that the Colts got were timely turnovers. As you mentioned, JJ, Latu, he gets the strip sack. Kind of think it was like 6:52 left to go in the game. And
Yep.
I think I forget what the score was. Was it at that time? I think it was
That
14-9, I think, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
14-9. It was a one-score game at that
It's one
point.
score game at that time. So that was a big play by Latu to
And that
get
was the
that
first
strip
play of the
sack.
drive, too.
Right, exactly. Get that
Yeah.
strip sack so the Colts can get the ball in great field position, and then the Colts capitalize on that turnover, and that's what you want to do. You want to capitalize on turnovers, and they did that, and they scored. So good job of complimentary football. And then another one, Jalen Jones got an interception. The Colts turned that into a touchdown as well. So good job by the Colts defense by creating some turnovers, getting some turnovers, but also good job by the Colts offense when them taking those turnovers and getting points off those turnovers, which were big for the team.
Yeah, the Colts defense, they made plays, especially early in the game when they needed to. I mean, you think about the fourth and goal from the 1 yard line that the Bears ran, where they ran the speed option.
Option,
Apparently, you
yep.
didn't watch the Colts tape from last week.
No, they
And
didn't.
they lose 6 yards on that play. Uh, or no, it was more. It was like 12 yards they
Yeah, I could
lost
say
on
it's
that
more than
play.
6 yards because
Yeah, it was a
it was
ugly,
ugly
ugly
play,
play.
very ugly
But
play.
the Colts defense was all over it. Again, DeAndre Swift didn't get going at all in this game. I thought that was going to be kind of the thing to watch, Bill, was if the
Hmm.
Bears could run the ball and get Caleb Williams into some comfortable passing situations. Instead, Swift, he leads the Bears with 13 carries and he gets only 20 yards on them. This was like a vintage Colts run defense performance. And I know the Bears' run offense has not been very good this year, and their offensive line has been banged up. They had Matt Pryor in there at right guard instead of Nate Davis today. But ultimately, you got to play the team that's in front of you. And the Colts have been giving up a ton of rushing yards prior to today.
Yes.
Whoever was running at him, they had to stop him. And this was an emphatic showing by the Colts run defense today.
Yeah, they did a nice job. And DeAndre Swift is a good running back. And they held him, like you said, to 20 yards. But it's very important that the Colts do that because coming into the season, we thought they would have a good run defense. And unfortunately, the first two games, we didn't see it happen. But today, against a Bears team that doesn't run the ball that well, but still, it was what they need to do to go out there and shut them down to kind of make them one-dimensional as far as the passing the ball. And they haven't been protecting Caleb Williams that well through the first two games of the season. They didn't do it today because they got 4 sacks, as you said earlier. So it's important for the Colts defense to go out there, stop the run, and make the Bears one-dimensional and put the game pretty much on Caleb Williams' shoulders and see what he can do. And the Colts did what they need to do to get the win, which is a big win. Didn't play the best. They could play definitely a lot better, but to get the first one, that's what you want to do. Get the first one, learn from it, and hopefully they can build on that each week and get better, and hopefully stack some wins up as the season goes on.
The Latu strip sack in particular, Bill, I thought was really notable, not just for the timing of it, not just for the actual the actual result of it, but this was a shot play the Bears are running. They were in max protect, and
Hmm.
they had Cole Kmet trying to block Leatu Latu on this play. This was supposed to be a shot play. They only had two guys out in routes, Roma Dunze and DJ Moore. The Colts had it pretty well covered. Julian Blackman was playing the deep safety. There was really not much there.
Hmm.
But asking Cole Kmet to block Leatu Latu is a tricky proposition to me.
Yeah,
That did not work out in the Bears' favor. And Latu said after the game that, Kwity Paye told him, hey, if you get this look, if this guy's blocking you, which it turned out it was Kmet, you can beat him. You got him. Like you got him in that look. And that's exactly what he got. Cole Kmet's a really good player. Like, I mean, we saw it today. The guy's a really good player. But he's not
yes.
an offensive lineman. He's not a left tackle. And on a shot play like that, the way Latu I thought had played all game, it looked like he was having a really, really good game. That's a matchup that the Colts were excited to get, I think, in that situation.
I think if Latu sees a tight end out there on him, I'm sure Latu's probably going to be a little excited to try to, get around him. And, don't get me wrong, tight ends, we have some good blocking tight ends in the National Football League. But I like my chances with Latu against Komet trying to get to Caleb Williams. And he did a nice job getting to Caleb Williams. And also other rushes he had, he did a nice job putting some pressure on Caleb Williams as well. But Latu getting around Komet and having an opportunity to get a strip sack, that was huge. And to me, I think it changes the game right there. As we said, it was 14-9. Latu makes a big play during an important time of the game and gets the ball back to our team, back to the offense, and they make a play and score a touchdown. So big, big, big credit to Latu for coming up with the big play uh, at the right time.
I know that Caleb Williams put up, what did he have, 350, 60 something passing yards, but I thought the Colts secondary played pretty well. Like obviously Jalen Jones getting the two picks, Bill,
Hmm.
those are the highlights of the day. I thought Kenny Moore the second had a really good day. I thought you saw some decent stuff from Sam Womack the third, even from Dallas Flowers. It felt like a lot of the big plays the Bears got were either to Cole Kmet, who had a big day, or when they
Yes.
would get advantageous matchups with Roma Dunze, where they had a Dunze on Nick Cross a couple of times. They had a Dunze even there was one play where they got him on EJ Speed, which is, EJ is a really good player, but you're not asking him to cover a wide receiver a whole
Paper.
lot. So I thought for the most part when the secondary was targeted in certain situations, especially the corners, I thought they had a pretty good day. We'll go back and look at the film on some of these guys, but overall encouraging in a game where the Bears are going to have to throw the ball, that the Colts secondary didn't totally break down in this game. And in fact, they had some real standout moments highlighted by Jalen Jones.
Exactly. They have some good moments there, and like you said, especially Jalen Jones with the two interceptions, the big interceptions there, and he played those interceptions very well as far as coming up, making some big plays. One of them was a real tough catch for Jalen Jones, but he made a nice catch there on one of them, and also kept his feet in bounds to make sure that
Mhm.
he got the interception. So give him credit, give Jalen Jones credit, and give Nick Cross credit too. I think Nick Cross did some good things. I mean, he had what, 10 tackles
Yep.
today, so he did a nice job making some tackles, and he's trying to fly around to the ball and make some plays. So give Nick some credit, and I thought the secondary played okay. Like I said, I need to watch the film again from beginning to end and actually see what happened. But um, I think they did a good enough job for the Colts to win. So that's the most important thing right now.
The Colts did a good enough job to win this football game, and in week three, Bill, that's all you can ask for, which is summing up 30 minutes of analysis here.
That's all you can ask for. And going into the game, I always said, not always said, going into the game, I said, yes, I want the Colts to win, but I want them to play well because playing well to me is going to hopefully set them up to hopefully get better as the year goes on and as the games go on down the line. Because to me, that's the most important thing. If you're playing well and you win, then you kind of can expect that. You kind of set the bar real high, and then you want to go even higher as a player to play even better. And you know what? This game wasn't their best game by far, and they will tell you that this was not their best game. But they found a way to win the ball game. It's very tough to win in the National Football League. These guys found a way to win. Now I just need to build on that, and they need to correct the mistakes that they made. They made a lot of mistakes out there today, but they need to build on that. And you know what? It's always good to get a win when you don't play your best. And now they know what they need to do to play better. And hopefully they can carry that over and play better next week against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers, by the way, Bill, with Justin Fields at quarterback. I'm sure once people figure out in Chicago that Justin Fields is coming to town undefeated after Caleb Williams leaves town at 1-2, that'll go over well over the radio airwaves in Chicago, I'm sure. That's going to do it for us here on this episode of Instant Reaction on the Colts Audio Network and on the Colts YouTube page. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Bill and I will be back next week again after the aforementioned Colts versus Steelers game at Lucas Oil Stadium. Until then, so long. Have a great week.